I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house for another day covering crypto. Of course, we're going to be covering Tom Lee and Bitmine Emmersion. We're going to be covering Michael Saylor and Microstrategy. Of course, the tickers for those on stock market, BMNR and MSTR. So we'll be covering that. We're also going to be covering the hot LibertySwap on Pulse Chain and Multi-Chain, covering the frontier of privacy as well. So we're looking at that. And of course, we've got Monster Thread number 42 is out live. We're going to briefly cover that as well, but look forward to a separate video on that one later today. So lots of fun things happening. Obviously, the market's still in the pullback. We're going to comment about that and see where it might end. And then, of course, we'll expect it to get a V-shaped recovery like every other time. You just got to pick up the DCA down to the bottom, I guess, and then ride it back up for the V recovery. That's kind of where we are right now in the old crypto market. So let me, don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe on YouTube. We are streaming on 3 YouTube channels as well. So don't forget to do that. And also, if you are on X, don't forget to smash the follow button at the top of X as well. Now, if you want to join Strategy Club is in the video description and through the Whoop store. Just over $1 a day to join up, and also on X at the top, you can go through the Whoop store and join up Strategy Club and get all the latest intel there as well. Well worth joining up there. So we look forward to seeing that. But yeah, it should be a fun show, and we're going to get into it pretty lively. Should be good. All right. So don't forget to get in the chat as well, and get active in there and let me know your thoughts on all that sort of stuff. So let me just pull up one item here to get the show going, and we're going to get into the stock market. We've got Monday results, so 23rd of February. We're going to get into that as first, but let's set that up at the moment. Just had to kick into gear on the old setup. So let me just pull it up right now and go for gold there. All right, I think we're almost there. And let's see if that loads up. Yep. All right, so let's transition to that. And we're going to kick into it. So I hope you guys enjoy. All right. Well, I thought I was kicking into it, but apparently that skipped. So there we go. Wall Street results. So for the 23rd, Monday, we had the Wall Street slide again on Trump's tariff turmoil. Now, obviously, when Trump, lost a big part in the Supreme Court, all his detractors and enemies, of course, went after him with that. And of course, Trump there responding in usual alpha male style and pushed back on the old tariffs and had other alternatives that he could put in place, right? So that's kind of what he's doing because he is reordering the World Trade Order. And he's not going to stop doing that, right? So, and we love it. I love it. I think it's a good move. Obviously, there's issues around retail, around stuff, but what we're generally seeing is not too much of an impact on the tariffs there on the U.S. economy. Now, we do know that he wants to potentially give a $2,000 check out, maybe bypass Congress. We'll see how that goes. And of course, that would be bullish for midterms as well. People love receiving checks. If you guys remember kind of the COVID lockdown checks people got. And if they invested those in crypto at that time, they would have made mad gains. Now we've got the Dow Jones at the moment down 1.6%, 821 points to 48,800. So down a decent day there on the Dow Jones. S&P 500 down 1.1%, let's say, 71 points to 6,837. And then we have the Nasdaq down 1.13%, 258 points down to 22,627. Now, obviously, we've been watching the AI theme, obviously the big boom. And we have NVIDIA's results expected on, I think it's Wednesday. So NVIDIA coming up. So that's what people will probably be looking forward to in terms of tuning the market. So we're going to keep a lookout for that on Wednesday. I think it is on those timelines. We'll check that out in our commentary. And then we got the US dollar down at 97.67, just down a tad. Now, looking at commodities, though, we got some action there. We got Brent oil and crude West Texas pretty flat at the moment, $66, $71 respectively. Brent oil down 0.25%. But gold there, of course, risk off. We got gold there up 0.4%, $21 to 5,246. And if we have a look at the chart for the last year, we're really almost back to all-time highs on the old gold. Looking very strong there. So the commodity trade still is the dominant trade. And then we've also got silver at $87, $88. And of course, that all-time high is off there quite a bit. It was up about $115. So still a way to go there. But gold there still looking pretty close to all-time highs. And that trade is still in play. All right. So that's kind of where we are with the commodities. Trump hikes tariffs to 15% after the Supreme Court ruling, of course. So Trump there still maneuvering around the Trump reordering. He has to do it because the countries that he put them in place will start to sneak themselves out, right? The countries are always trying to sneak themselves out of these things. And of course, Trump's there's trying to restructure the World Trade Order, which he's done pretty effectively. Countries look to renegotiate deals, of course. So several countries looking to jump on the heels of that. Of course, that's not going to play well with Trump if you expose yourself trying to renegotiate. And of course, the EU, they're trying to do that sort of thing. So let's have a look at the other things that are going on, of course. AI, of course, is the mega theme, and we're expecting AI to continue to play out because we've got the kind of the fourth industrial revolution going on at the moment, and AI is a big part of that, right? So we're expecting a future, of course, world where AI is dominating everything. That's going to create a lot of potentially extremely bad scenarios. But in any case, there is a lot of good, just like a lot of technology. However, AI is one of those super technologies that really transforms society. So we're expecting that to have a lot of great benefits, but a lot of potentially horrific things happening as well. But that's something for the future. In terms of NVIDIA, so we're expecting AI to run its theme real strong. Of course, NVIDIA there is one of the chip makers, so is the chip maker pretty much with the Blackwell chips and everything. Everyone's going to be looking for their report on Wednesday, and that could turn the market back up, right? So keep a lookout for that on Wednesday. That is a bullish catalyst and to get the AI rally back on track. But we are expecting AI to continue to rally, right? So that's kind of the play there. So that is a big turning event. So keep a lookout for that on Wednesday's results, which will, I guess, be Thursday down under. So yeah, big deal there. Keep a lookout for that. Now, on the back step, of course, NVIDIA being the bullish, potential bullish turn, is that we have the US has got two aircraft carriers now off the coast of two aircraft carrier fleets, I should say, off the coast of Iran. They do have meetings on Thursday, third meeting on Thursday. We'll see what happens there. I think there's still obviously a lot of different views of how that should be approached, but it's getting definitely down to the wire when the US has got two aircraft carrier fleets plus all the land bases as well. It could be regime change right time, right? Obviously, the Iranian technology is not really going to stand up to the US at all. I think it would be pretty wiped. They'll wipe the floor pretty quickly. But even with the Russian equipment, but it's going to be, they want to have the people revolution, which I think is sitting there as well. Got most of the people want the regime gone. They want to move them back to where they were in the 60s, where they are modern Western society had that sort of place. So we look forward to Iranian people hopefully coming back into freedom, as freedom is under challenge in the West, of course, with our own progressives are pretty much like that here, destroying the West. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so that is some of the main news there. Let's jump into the crypto and pull that up as well. So we're going to jump into crypto there. And we can see at the moment, the crypto market is 2.3 trillion. So still really small market cap right now. It is down 3.5% today. We've got Bitcoin at the moment at 64,816, down 4.1%. Of course, some people calling to break 60K, get down to 59, 57, something like that, depending on who you're listening to. So another little leg down. Is that where we're going? Or we're going to hold it around here? We're sort of trading between 60 and 70, let's say. So we'll see how we get on there. Down 4.1% today. Ethereum is down 4.7%. $1,860. Did make a little bit of a bounce overnight, but failed to hold that up and went back down again. Excuse me. XRP is at number 4. It is down 2.6% at $1.36. BNB at number 5, down 2.8% at $597. Solana at number 7, down 5.4% at $78. So certainly some deals to pick up. Tron down 3.1%. Remember, Tron was our green shoot yesterday. It's down 3.1% today at 28 cents. Doge at number 9 is down 2.3% at 9.3 cents. And finally, number 10 there, Figurehallic, $1.03, up 1.5%. So the only green one there in the top 10. And also in the top over the last week as well. So up 1.1%. Obviously, we've been a bit of a change of a guard. We've even got Cardano moving down even another step from yesterday, from 13 to number 14. So Cardano, ADA there, not having much fun, down 2.7% at 26.3 cents. The other thing that we saw overnight was USD1, of course, the rising stablecoin star backed by the Trump family. That got had a bit of an attack on it, and it got depegged. Went down to 98 cents, even though it's had massive jumps in issuance, and we're keeping a lookout for USD1 out of the stablecoins, because that's where a lot of money is going to be made. Obviously, US Circle and USD Tether, they're going to make tons of money with the Genius Act, and of course, waiting for the Clarity Act to open up the floodgates. But we already see those coins are moving, right? So a lot of big things happening there with the market. So let's have a look at the top 100. See what's been performing over the last week there. We've got Morpho up 16%, Pippin up 12, almost 13%, World Liberty Financial, the Trump entity there, up 9%, Pax Gold up 5.3%, Tether Gold there, up 5%, both of those following up with gold obviously moving up. So those are top performers over the last week. Over the last 24 hours, we got Pippin, Mencor, Pax Gold, Tether Gold, and Figurehallic there, the best performers there, top 100. Top gainers 1,000. We got Espresso, we got Pippin again, and we got Uma. And the trending overall, we got Pudgy Penguins, been trending a lot lately, hasn't it? Bitcoin as well, been trending there a lot, and we got Hyperliquid back in the play, trending as well. So those are what's trending there. Market cap in crypto, super small, 2.3 trillion, guys. That is a baby market cap. So once all this chaos ends on this move down, we should expect some pretty awesome things to the upside. Mikey's in the house. Hey, Mikey, hey, gang. Good to see you, Excavator. Welcome to the chat there as well. Yeah, if you're watching, don't forget to get in the chat there. Get lively as well. And if you are watching on X, don't forget to smash the repost button on the show, and we'll get into doing some cool things there. All right, so that is pretty much that. Let's jump into some of the drivers of the market. Obviously, we had some pretty big news and some of the headline stories. The ETFs at the moment, this is about 9 hours old, but the ETFs there, we had the one-day net inflow, 1,300 BTC, 85 mil. We had 7-day net flow of ETFs down 4,400, not surprising there, 300 million. On the ETH front, we had one-day net flow of negative 57,000 ETH, negative 110 million, no surprise. 7-day net flow, 65,000, down 126 million. So those are the negative flows there for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we can obviously see some of the big moves here, like BlackRock, etc. And they're making big moves down over the last week. Grayscale, that was up 3,000. So you've got a bit of a move there as well. Fidelity also down 3,000 ETH, and Bitwise as well, down 700 ETH on the Ethereum ETF, but Van Eyck there up 1,460. So mostly down overall there on the ETFs. That jumps us to some of our headline stuff, which is Bitmine Emmersion. This is the latest stuff coming out from Tom Lee and Bitmine Emmersion. And so we've got a whole full report to go through, so we're going to go through that. Let's get into it. And so we got Bitmine provided its latest holdings update for February 23rd. 9.6 billion in total crypto, plus the moonshots. And remember that I gave a bit of an overview in yesterday's video, so if you want to go back and see that about the world money order, obviously it's contingent on the Clarity Act, but we're pretty confident that's going to go through. I think on prediction markets, it's about 70% or so. expectation. Maybe by March or April. March the 1st, kind of the deadline date, but let's say March or April there. Certainly has to be done before the midterms, so that Trump can change the financial system as well as the tariffs as well. So we've got a lot of big plays happening, right, with the Trump administration, and they've still got to push that through, particularly while they hold all the, guarantee they hold all the three parts of government there in the United States: the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And one would argue the judiciary, right? Although it didn't work out too well in the tariffs. 9.6 billion total crypto plus moonshots. They currently look, this is some serious ETH position. The number one player is Bitmine Emmersion. 4.4 million ETH now. 4,422,659 ETH is now held. Pretty exciting stuff. 193 Bitcoin is also held. Remember, they were a Bitminer before Tom Lee took it over as chair and started operating it in June last year, right? So it's still very young, if you think about it. What's that? About 8 months or so. $200 million stake in Mr. Beast, which is a master play in my view. And I think there's going to be a massive benefit there as the masses are brought onto the Ethereum blockchain. It is a master move. And definitely, I think the market's underestimated its potential. In fact, I've seen a lot of commentators don't even understand what's going on. I think it's just absolutely massive. So 17 million stake in 8Co Holdings with Orbs. Obviously, they're around digital identities and things like that. Of course, we're against that in DeFi. But from the C5 view, when they all accept that things have to be controlled, that there is a big move there. So if you look at it from their perspective, Orbs could be pretty big deal there. Total cash, 691 million, so still plenty of cash in play for the old Bitmine Emmersion there to buy more Ethereum. Remember, they want to hit 6 million, which is 5%, the 5% alchemy, right? And that will give them the network benefit there. All right, so some big deal stuff happening there. Let's go to number 2 there. As of February 23rd, 2026, Bitmine total staked ETH stands at 3,040,000. So out of that 4.4 million ETH that they've purchased since June last year, they now have 3 million of it staked, which is absolutely amazing. Total staked ETH by week, they've got that. And of course, the last disclosure on the 17th, they jumped up to 3,040,000 ETH staked. This is a proportion of the 4.4 million held by Bitmine. The CESR, or the Composite Ethereum staking rate, administered by Quatrefoil, is 2.81%. So fantastic yield. Remember, these yields are competing with the bond market and things like that, more conservative things. Bitmine is currently working with 3 staking providers as the company moves towards unveiling its commercial Maven, Made in America validated network in 2026. We're expecting it in early 26, so potentially the first quarter. And so we're well towards heading towards the end of February now. And this Maven there is going to be pretty amazing. Not only will they be staking directly themselves, but also but having other third parties also stake through there, earning more yield and maximizing yield. So pretty big deal there. We've got a cool chart, of course, and it shows you what they're currently earning. So at the moment, 3 million is 50% of the 6 million they want to buy. Remember, they've got 4.4. And that is pretty awesome. If they're 4.4, if they staked all of it, so they continue to stake it all, which is what we're expecting, that'd be 73% of their target staked. And that would, once they get to 6 million, that would be obviously the full 100% that they're targeting at the moment. That doesn't mean that Tom Lee and the crew won't decide to go more than 5%, but that's a decision for another day. Annualized staking revenue, of course, this makes Bitmine Emmersion super powerful, and it is going up and up and up and away. So every update we get, as you can see, the revenue is going up. Now, obviously, Ethereum price has been going down from 3,000, let's say, 3,500 down to where we are now, 1,860. But the revenue is still pretty amazing at 50%. It's $171 million a year. It's fully staked ETH. That would be 249, and at 340 once they get 6 million stake. But of course, if Ethereum itself rallies back up, then all these numbers go up into potentially the billions, right? I think it's at $12,000, it's going to be something like $2.4 billion of annual revenue. That's anything even getting close to half a billion, which is backed, I think, to $3,000. you're talking about massive re-rates there, I would suspect. That's how many businesses have virtually no debt and earning all that income? Pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. All right, so number 3, Tom Lee gave us a few little comments about it. He said, in the midst of the mini crypto winter, so obviously there's an admission there that we're in a mini crypto winter. Now remember, we had this liquidation event on the 10th of October last year, and then we had another liquidation and other fears this year. And of course, that meant that it rounded off, depending on your view on which approach to the 4-year cycle, we didn't see that really get broken. So most people feel like we pretty much had that 4-year cycle and we're back in the crypto winter. But of course, Michael Saylor and Tom Lee are pretty much in the mini crypto winter, although they don't have exactly the bottom. Although they thought $1,890 was going to be the bottom for Ethereum, and maybe it still will be because we haven't really. We're slightly below that, but we haven't really breached it in big time. So. How would we breach that? Well, going down to $1,500 or $1,600 Ethereum, right? That'd probably be the next leg. That'd be the final leg? We'll see. We'll find out where we go. We've certainly got some other variables going on, like the Iranian issue and tariffs and things like that. In the midst of the mini crypto winter, our focus continues to be on methodically executing our treasury strategy, which we just looked at, right? And steadily acquiring ETH and in turn optimizing the yield on our ETH holdings, which they are doing, which is fantastic. We discussed this operational strategy in our latest chairman's message. While the crypto prices are attempting to find their respective lows, the 3 fundamental drivers for Ethereum continue to gain traction. Number 1, Wall Street and their efforts to tokenization, which we talked about yesterday's video. AI and agentic AI using smart blockchains for both execution and for collecting payments. A big theme there. And of course, number 3, the emerging creator economy and their desire to use blockchains for verification. So there are some bullish stuff there. And of course, the weekly buys continue as they head towards 6 million ETH. And the latest one we just got was the 23rd. And that was pretty much over the last 24 hours. And we got the fact that they had bought another 51,162 ETH, even though we saw ETH bleeding out of the ETFs. We've got the biggest DAT, or digital assets treasury, buying up ETH and continuing towards that strategy. So a master play, in my opinion, and really, really cool. We've got the timing since about mid-January. They got down to buying 24,000 ETH in the week, heading towards that 6 million. But you can see that they are expecting the market to be bottoming out. They're just slowly kind of increasing their purchases here. Tom DeMar, of course, one of the big timing geniuses, is their advisor. And of course, Bitmine is one of only 2 clients that he has there. So this is sort of indicating that these guys are buying through the bottom here and lifting their ETH stakes, which is a great move there, and still with a lot of cash in hand, around $690 million or so. So pretty awesome. And of course, we got $690 million cash, plus they're earning all the staking revenue from the 3,040,000 ETH that they've got staked. Just master strategy, I think, playing out. This is just the DAT side of things, and then of course they're going to get into the Maven with the staking protocol offering, maximizing yield, providing that service for other third parties, and of course then they're going to be doing other financial things to leverage their number 1 DAT position and bring other financial products and services to the market. So you guys keep looking at the strategies. Looks pretty amazing. BMNR currently reigns as the largest ETH treasury and largest holder of ETH in the world, second largest crypto treasury, only behind MicroStrategy as well. Bitmine is one of the most widely traded stocks in the United States. It's very important, this part. According to data from Fundstrat, BMNR traded average daily dollar volume of $0.7 billion. That's a 5-day average as of February the 20th, ranking 165 in the United States. And it's a big deal because big money can come in and out, right? Flow in and out. And we've seen a lot of the institutions, as retail selling, buying up BMNR, taking their strategic position because they know this is the long game. It's just the beginning. And so they're positioning themselves pretty well. So there's 5,704 US listed stocks, and they're sitting at number 165 in the US. So you can see this is the big game being played, and Tom Lee there is all in on this, right? So kind of cool there, and you can see BMNR there at number 165. on that ranking. All right, so pretty cool. So that was the latest update from BMNR, and we can see the price overnight, of course, moves up. So it's a leverage play on Ethereum. Ethereum goes down, and the price of BMNR is going to go down. It's currently $19.22, closing there. And that's in the last year. It's still up 163%, but of course they've been accumulating. So last 24 hours, they're down 4.5%. So you got to ride it up and down depending on where Ethereum is going. And so it's down 4.5%, 91 cents today to $19. Now, is this the bottom? Because if you look at the last 6 months, so since the October event, the liquidation event on October the 10th, it was $52 for BMNR, and it's floated all the way down to where it is now. So is this close to the bottom? Well, it probably will be if we don't see Ethereum capitulate again down to $1,500 to $1,600, a new range, right? If we don't see that, this should hold up pretty well on that line. So that is kind of where we are with BMNR. That leads us into Michael Saylor, of course, with Strategy, the big DAT or digital asset treasury for Bitcoin. And we can see Strategy has acquired, like Ethereum, like Bitmine has acquiring Ethereum, Strategy continues to acquire Bitcoin. So they acquired 592. Now, the very interesting part of this is the 100th purchase from Strategy. The 100th purchase from Strategy. So probably the smallest one, I think, possibly. 592 at $40 million, and that was an average of $67,286. Remember that both these DATs are both under, they both have unrealized losses in terms of the asset prices, what they purchased at, and so that includes Michael Saylor as well. As of the 22nd of February, MSTR or Microstrategy holds 717,722 Bitcoin, acquired for $54.56 billion at 76,000. So we're I think we're about 67,000. So we're almost $10,000 below their average. So they've got unrealized losses. Obviously, if you don't sell, then you haven't made the loss, right? You just wait for the price to go back up. But that's kind of where they are right now, as the number one. So not bad. All right, so Michael Saylor, of course, still out there doing interviews. The latest interview was 11 hours ago with Natalie Brunell. Now, I think I've got the sharing of the audio, so we're going to watch just a little bit of this in the intro here. So let's play a little bit of that.
There really is no example of a successful technology investment where you didn't have to weather the 45% drawdown and go through that valley of despair. Ours is currently taking 137 days so far. But it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, it might take 4 years. If it took 7 years, congratulations. It's just like Apple Computer, the biggest success story of the decade.
All right, so just a little bit of talking about the drawdown at the moment. Now, obviously, we've had many drawdowns and many recoveries. Obviously, we're down from Bitcoin's high of 126,000. And here we are, down pretty significantly. So is this near the bottom, or we got one more little leg to go? We'll find out in due course. But that's this latest interview there, and he's got a good section there on where the markets might be heading with Bitcoin's bear market and negative sentiment in the beginning there. So that is the play on that one. We're going to probably listen to a little bit of this as we go forward for the next 6 minutes. So hopefully you enjoy this little update from Michael Saylor.
Everyone wants to hear from him. Michael Saylor, thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's great to see you. You're one of the only bulls left, it feels like.
I think there's a lot of bulls out there. Just they're waiting.
Well, let's start right there. Bitcoin's price is down. Sentiment is pretty negative. The critics are saying the thesis is breaking. What do they not understand?
Okay. First of all, it's 137 days since the last all-time high. 4.5 months. Half the amount of time it takes to make a baby. 4.5 months. Now, we're off 45%, right? The all-time high is like 125, we're 67, 67.5 or so. So, there's a famous video of me in 2013 speaking about the virtues of the iPhone and Apple, and it went viral for a while.
there's not an 8-year-old on the planet that doesn't want an iPhone 5.
And if you go back and you look at maybe the greatest company of our era, Apple, and the greatest stock, a stock that made people insanely rich. Apple releases the iPhone in 2007. The P to E of Apple is 30. The iPhone isn't a success for 2 years. Around 2009, on the iPhone 3, people start to think, and myself included, I didn't think the original iPhone 1 or 2 were that useful. There was no app store, there was no cut and paste, they were kind of toys. Around 2009, the iPhone starts working, it's iPhone 3. By 2012, they're around the iPhone 4, iPhone 5. Everybody agrees it's a cool product. Apple stock peaks. Then it crashes. Between late 2012 and May 2013, Apple stock falls 45%. The same 45% Bitcoins fall. The Apple P to E goes to 10. The Ford P to E less than 10. It's being valued like a tired cash cow, utility company. Like no technology, no future. People are down on it. You know how long it takes, Natalie, before Apple recovers to a P to E of 30 from 2013?
Years?
7 years.
7 years.
In 2020, Apple returns to a P to E of 30. So it's 13-year cycle from 2007 to 2020. The greatest company of its era, at many times the most valuable company, the most successful product, the product that 1 billion people agree is something they can't live without, maybe the most successful product in the history of the human race, takes 13 years peak to trough to peak, 7 years to recover. And you know what it took for people to give Apple the P to E of 30 again? The endorsement of Carl Icahn and Warren Buffett.
Wow.
2 people who probably didn't even use the iPhone that much, if at all. You never would have read a review from Carl Icahn or Warren Buffett on the iPhone, did you? Like, are they at the top of your technology, advocate list or technology reviewer list? So that's an example of how conventional markets evaluate innovation. And here's the irony, right? At the point that I give that speech, I'm saying, hey, this is an iPhone 5. There's not a 6-year-old that doesn't want this iPhone 5. At the point I give the speech, there's general consensus that the iPhone is something you can't live without and no one's got a product nearly as good. And yet the conventional market's counter-trading it. Okay, so if you got rich in the past decade, you probably bought big tech. You probably bought Apple. You probably bought Google. You probably bought Meta. Maybe you bought Amazon. Maybe you bought NVIDIA. Maybe you bought Tesla. There's no way you got rich without buying big tech. Big tech has been the primary screaming success. The stocks are up 10x, 20x, 30x, 50x. But in all cases, you find examples of the conventional market that underappreciates them and underestimates them. With Apple, it was 7 years through the wilderness. With Amazon, I remember Amazon for something like 4 to 8 years, conventional wisdom was Amazon's an awful company. They'll never make any money. They'll never amount to anything. You almost could have bought Amazon anytime for a decade while conventional investors crapped all over it. And it wasn't until 2020 during the lockdowns that people go, oh, wow, I guess we need Amazon. And of course, just this last week, Amazon's revenue surpassed Walmart, and Amazon became the largest company in the world by revenue. But when could you have concluded Amazon was going to work? 2010, 2012. It was already obvious there was going to be no competitor to Amazon. No one could possibly do what they were doing by 2012. 8 years later, conventional wisdom is that. The same is true with Apple. It's like, so Bitcoin, at what point do you have the fundamental ability to conclude that Bitcoin is global digital capital? Now. Like, what's the indicia? The President of the United States is telling you, right? The head of the Fed, Kevin Warsh, is telling you. The head of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, is telling you. The head of the SEC, the head of the CFTC, 8 other cabinet members, all the Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds are telling you. BlackRock is telling you, right? My company is 100x its enterprise value, right? When in the history of the capital markets did a company ever buy $55 billion worth of a commodity and then loudly declare that this is digital capital and this is the new money of the world? Never.
Coin Stories is proudly brought to you by...
All right, so that's a little sneak peek there from the interview around a potential value, and of course, may get a V recovery really quick in the next couple of months, which I'm expecting up to 7 years potentially. Even he's kind of indicating. So that is a little insights into there. We're going to jump into the Pulse chain now, though, and move markets. So let's jump over to Pulse chain, have a look at where Pulse chain is at the moment. Now, obviously, Pulse chain is the hourly chart, and Pulse chain, of course, a full system state copy of Ethereum, founded by Richard Hart, and it has had a lot of onslaughts from the SEC for 2 years, which Richard Hart defeated in court, and also a lot of black swan events as well. So it's had to endure quite a few things with the sacrifice set that was done the capital raise with no expectations, of course, and lots of other issues with some of the big contracts that got copied over and manipulated by certain actors. So we've had to endure that. Is all that going to be close to over? Well, we have definitely seen people still capitulating, even wallets that have been pretty much diamond hands up to this point. But we always get some of them also selling down. And of course, with all the negative news as well, doesn't help. And then we get rotations into some of the majors as well from Pulse chain. So still add quite a bit of that. Now, in terms of the hourly chart, we have recently just dropped down into new all-time lows over the last 24 hours into Pulse chain. We can see we had this big wick sell-off back here. And how many hours ago was that? That was a few hours ago, 20 hours ago. Yeah, and we had quite a large volume sell down there. We got to a new low of, can you believe it, 5 zeros. Remember, the mean sacrifice price was 3 zeros, 1. And here we got down to 5 zeros, 7,822. So a big event there. Had a little bit of a recovery on the hourly chart. And then we had another sell down there to 5 zeros, 8,330. And now we're trying to push back up. We've definitely got a higher high here on the hourly. And we're trying to push back up there. And we got back up to 5 zeros, 9,370. So we're trying to, lose that, shed that 1 0 again. That's all the way up here. So still got a bit of work to do that. And the price here just obviously taking a bit of profit again. We're currently at 5 zeros, 9,173. And to get back to losing that 0 is about another, just under 10%. So we've still got another 10% there, which can happen fairly easily off low liquidity. That's in Pulse chain right now. In the LP pools. So I don't know if you managed to pick up that 78. I was certainly watching the markets at that time, coincidentally, that you could pick that up. So we also had another event pick up at 8,400 back here only, about 9 hours ago or so. So that is where the Pulse chain is on the hourly. The 4 hourly, which is the trader's view, we can see we've had a bit of a bounce from that oversold. So RSI is really quite helpful for that. And we saw that bounce back up, to about 47. So we're still pushing up. So we've got room to go higher. And we'll keep a lookout for all these moving averages I've got on here as well. Moving to the daily chart. We've got obviously that big wick now, the 78.90. Now, will we go back down to that wick? It's, we will find a bottom at some stage. But of course, if we got more negative news around, maybe even a short-term Iran escapade or something like that, then it's definitely possible. But at the moment, that has set the bottom. And here we are at 91.82. A bit of a hammer there as well. A bit of I guess it's closer to a butterfly wick, I think. And so here we are right now trying to fight to the upside. And we've got nothing in sight showing us any signal to the upside, because we've still got all our moving averages moving down, no matter whether it's the 9, the 21, the 50, the 200. and they're all on the down low here with this mega downtrend. Moving to the weekly, the RSI there on the weekly is pretty is hitting the oversold part down at around 30. So is this sort of suggesting in? Last time we got close to here back in March 25, we had a bit of a recovery. We had that sort of recovery there. But since then, down we have gone and back here. So we're probably getting pretty close to the low. Just a question whether we'll retest that 8,000 again, I guess. But here we are at the moment at 30 on the weekly. All right, let's go to the monthly, shall we? Since we've got a decent amount of data. That's our chart. So it doesn't look great, obviously. And we've got that new low there at 7,800. So 5 zeros. A long way to go. Now, to get back to the all-time high, like to get back to the mean sacrifice price, is going to take a bit of effort, and that would be a gain of 994%. So 11x, guys, 1,000%, 11x there to get back to the mean sacrifice price alone. So that is the play. Now, I don't really think that's going to happen until we get Ethereum rally, until we probably get the $5,000 Ethereum breakout, and then get some sort of altcoin season. I think that's probably where we've got to head to. And that also assumes that the magic carpet ride money with the sacrifice sets are actually used in some form or another to, even if it's shaving 10% once it gets to that high value. Because once it gets to high value, it's going to be worth billions of dollars, right? Whether that gets shaved and pumped into the Pulse chain. So how all that plays out, we're going to find out. And will the people that survived this onslaught for 1,018 days since the launch, plus all the hundreds of days before that, we shall see. But that's kind of the play for the long-term people, are sticking around for that and managing to hold off. Now, what does that mean now? Well, if all these sacrifice people and people that had hex that went into sacrifice and all those other things are selling down, even at the margin. So we've got certain actors selling down at the margin, pushing us down. That means you can pick up massive volumes, right? And you become the new whale. You become the new whale in that sense. So it is an opportunity, assuming we find the bottom somewhere around where we are, right? Certainly that weekly chart suggesting that the RSI is around 30. Maybe that is close to the bottom based on previous touches of that. But here on the monthly, we're still at 37. So, I mean, it can always go down further, can't it? So we will find out. We're going to find out in due course. If we do get a V recovery, this will go back up, right? So we'll just take note of that, and you will be paying higher prices in the Pulse chain, despite any potential rotation into the majors from Pulse as well. It will generally tend to go back up there. All right, so that's kind of where we are right now. Pretty thin liquidity on the old Pulse chain. I think there's about 68 to $70 million in terms of the bridge values. We're sitting with most of those stable coins. Of course, that includes quite a bit of hex as well, I believe, as well, which is probably, I don't know, what's it, about $7 million, something like that. It's been going down pretty quick. So that is the Pulse chain charts. Certainly nice buying at the moment and nice volume pickups there for sure. All right. If you're waiting for the bottom, you might end up never getting it, right? So you've got to kind of DCA and take your luck there with the RSI and the moving averages. All right, let's jump into the charts here overall. So the trending here on Dick Screener. Let me just get a tab of time here. We're doing not too bad. So we got the Pulse Maker there, been around for 10 months, up 92%. Now, I'm not endorsing any of these, remember, I'm just reading through some of the performers here. Morbius, of course, is up 86%. Stacks up 27%. Liberty, been around for 8 months, up 27%. PUSD the Greys up 15%. Nice to see that little move there. Number one, first DAO, I guess, on Pulse Chain, along with UFO. Its little daughter, I guess, 15% as well. So nice little move there. Another blue chip in here, Vouch, the biggest validator on Pulse Chain, 13.9%. up there at the moment. So nice to see some, the first DAO and the first validator being leading in the performance here today. We got Phoenix up 13%. We got what else? We got World's Greatest PDI printer there from OG WebChef, up 11% there. Some of the James and Maria teddy bears, kind of a meme reflection, I guess, of the wider James and Maria ecosystem there, up about 10% right now. That wraps up our top 15. We got Reserve Tay there as well. A Troper there as well. James Maria up 8.8%. So a little bit of James Maria hanging out there. Sparta, of course, supposed to benefit on the back of Hex as a leverage. That's up 8.7%. And we've got Hex itself having a nice little bounce back here as well, up 8.4%. So Hex making a little bit of a gain there. And of course, just like Pulse, you'd be able to pick up a mad amount of Hex right now. And I know some people that are doing that, so they're getting their position's much bigger than they ever could dream, and so they're pretty stoked about that. And we just saw PCock here just jump in the mix, and we just popped into the top here for 18, and that's back up 8.7% as well. So PCock there, arguably the Kraken on Pulse Chain right now, the one that's potentially going to lead us into glory as well, is on the move. So 8.7% there. And, we want to see more diamond hands in some of these projects, especially these quality ones. Where LibertySwap's leading privacy, not just on Pulse Chain, but in crypto generally. And also some of these utility top blue chip type projects like Vouch as well. So that's kind of pretty cool in the top 30 there. We're just going to scroll down a little bit further here. A little bit of green shoots showing at the moment for Doubt Token, Top Hat, Pump Tires Die up almost 5%. A few others down here as well. Some of the Richard Hart tokens and Signum token up about 2.7% there. So yeah, a little bit of green shoots there. We've got how many? We've got about 674 coins out of the top 100, 74 pairs, I should say, out of the top 100 trending here on Dex Screener in the green. Now, what's not doing too well? Let's have a look down the bottom here. Doubt token pair with inks down quite a lot, 22% there. Some of the pairs are a bit funny, aren't they? So they show up a bit pretty negative. Dominance down 10%. Time dividend, which was doing well, was it yesterday? And that's down about 6% today. So just taking a little breather there. But Time has done pretty well. It's one of our blue chips, I would argue, as well, with the wallets, our main wallets. Let's have a look at the ratio to Pulse. Use price is deceptive. Yeah, pretty good little trend there, isn't it? Down from 115 Pulse per time, but 106 at the moment. Obviously, they make revenue. If you've got Time token in your wallet, you make revenue off all the trading on that wallet. Obviously, with the prices down, that's going to be less, etc. Even though the growth and the number of downloads is well over 100,000 now. So it's something to look at. It'll probably be one of the big movers when we get an uptrend reversal, and we finally get that mega uptrend rather than mega downtrend, which we're currently in for Pulse Chain. All right, so that is some of the markets. Let's jump over to the big player, I would say. Kraken is LibertySwap, and of course they are really leading the way. We do have some other good teams doing some good stuff, like Vault 369. We're waiting for that multi-chain, multi-liquidity fork, multi-asset fork there coming up. And we've got a few other projects also doing some pretty heavyweights there. Expecting CoinWell to probably be a pretty big deal when that gets to market. And a big shout out to Triple Dad out there, working hard on that probably. But market timing's key, right? Some of these projects will be holding off for market timing, and that makes sense. I have no doubt about that. All right, so LibertySwap says, good morning. Just kicked off a new week with another 2,000 PCock buyback on top of the usual platform fees. So recently, over the last couple of days in particular, they've been not only using protocol fees from their privacy offerings, but also adding some of their own capital over the top. Been doing it quite regular basis, actually, to keep their ticker up. Now, they're also trying to get coin market cap confirmations of the contracts, and I think they're really high at the moment. I think they're we'd have to go look at the percentage, but they're getting there. So I think when they're not too far away, potentially getting coin market cap to re-rate them based, instead of 24-hour volume, onto market cap, and that would jump them from maybe 4,200 position rank to about maybe 1,800 even, depending on where the rest of the market's at. And that would be huge, right? That'd be huge, and well on the way to the top 50. That's the plan. So they're working on the information side of things as well as pushing the price up and the price floor. And that's against some adversity, right? Because we're in this downtrend at the moment in crypto generally. So pretty cool stuff coming from them. Another $1,000 is coming, they say. Add another 1,000. Hold the line. So they're trying to lead by example, and that's the opposite of what we've seen a lot in a lot of Pulse Chain projects that have ended up being potentially good, but ended up being, something goes wrong with them, right? Something goes wrong with them. But so far, all we've seen month after month after month is LibertySwap deliver, do what they say, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's kind of cool. Good morning there. Everyone likes a bit of a buy. Good morning. We're going to scroll back up here a little bit more here. Let's jump up to this one here. So I think we got some more stuff there. Buy more PCocks is LibertySwap. And of course, we had Richard Hart here in play as well. Richard Hart 6 hours ago. We're going to pull that up. His comments are there, but we'll come back. to that. So more ETH buying PCock from LibertySwap here. Nice. So we had some nice small buying there from PCock. What out there? 2.5 million transfers, 6,800 holders now during Pulse-Chain's deep bear market. The price is holding strong. You can imagine what the price could look like on PCock with a frontier privacy trading provider like LibertySwap leading crypto in this technology. It could be quite violent to the upside. violent to the upside. We like that. So pretty cool. 6,800 holders and climbing. Obviously, you want to end up getting that to, 25,000 holders, 50,000 holders, right? And the price chart there will start to attract people, especially with diamond hands. So it's going to be interesting to see that. So hopefully all the big holders there just sit pretty and let the thing do its thing. So far, I think they've not been too bad. Not been too bad about that. 2 hours ago, keep buying, but keep believing. The flock stays strong in both ups and downs. LibertyX, ZKX, I should say, LibertySwap 2.0, Liberty Land, and the native Railguns instance will create huge demand for this little coin. So there we go. It is the official coin, of course, PCock for LibertySwap. Another all-time high for PCock to Pulse ratio. So we've been looking at that, right? We will keep buying. We will keep delivering. Pulse chain, bridge to Pulse chain now. And that ratio there heading up towards 1,700. How high will it go in a rally? It could be pretty massive, right? Pretty massive indeed. So we even see this down here in the comments here an hour ago, sending 3 ETH more are coming. So they're really supporting that price on the upside there for the old PCock. Which is pretty cool. Let's jump quickly into Richard Hart, of course, the founder of PulseChain, 6 hours ago, making some comments on the markets himself. So we're going to pull up a few of these and have a look at that as well. Richard Hart, S&P 500 all-time highs, gold all-time highs, Bitcoin half off, Ethereum half off, any other crypto you might own, more than half off, weird and sucks. If you want to win, you have to just keep doing what works. Sometimes the price really has no relation to how good your stuff is. Sometimes people are broke and just must press the red button, no matter how much they wish they could press green. PulseChain has higher throughput, lower fees, lower latency, flawless operation for 1,000 days. Well, we're up to 1,018 now. Pump.tires launched, and of course, ProveX launched beta, and on and on. So Richard is doing one of the things that he can do right now, which is obviously he ran that sacrifice for basically fiat based, and then also did the ProveX as well. So Richard is making moves. We saw him make quite a few other moves last year, and he's doing what he can, especially while Ethereum is where it is at the moment. But if people just have to press green instead of red, it is what it is, and it's that everywhere. It's that everywhere in crypto. Indeed, it is. Richard also said, what works? Everyone asks. Well, since basically everything everywhere is in crypto is wrecked right now, no one actually knows what works, but the people that figure it out first get a chance to win big. So probably what works is keep trying new things. So we are expecting potentially more things from Richard in terms of his chess moves. Can he do fractionalization and make that work? That'll be interesting to see if he does. Will he do another sacrifice instead based on fiats? Tokens like ProveX actually take Pulse chain assets. It'd be an interesting move. Maybe a wallet or stablecoin. Obviously, stablecoin that we talked about is where people are making billions of dollars right now, and we're expecting big moves with that, the Genius Act, etc. Finding the ones that suck the least, and then when people in general have money again and can click the green instead of red, you want them to think of clicking your green first. Now, obviously, if Trump does a $2,000 check, that might help a lot of people go spending. But of course, also this marketing promotion, which we've also seen with the iPads, right? The iPads going out, and people have come up a lot of creative ways of doing that as well. And it has manifested in a few new big influencers and other things like that coming to PulseChain. So we'll keep a lookout for the progress there as well. So big shout out to all the community that is pushing that out right now. So that was from Richard only a few hours ago, 6 hours ago. But he did post out a few more things here. So, hey, LP providers, liquidity providers, consider bonding stable directly with Pulse, PulseX, Hex. I'm curious what PulseX and Hex charts look like if they don't have the majority of the liquidity in Pulse. The fractured liquidity might cause more slippage, but allow each coin's merit to be more accurately valued. Heck, the liquidity is so low, if there was a good time to experiment, it'd probably be now. Here's a great thread for the thought experiment. Do remember, cry fags, get Laban. So there we go. Also, perhaps the stable of choice should be bridged in SDI instead of normal DI, and we saw LibertySwap talking about that, so you can go check that out as well. All right, so that is from Richard today, so not bad, not bad. I did do a little bit of a publication as well on LibertySwap's upcoming products, because they really are leading the way here in a more broader way with the privacy and trading and unified liquidity cross-chain. It's a pretty big deal. So LibertySwap cross-chain intent-based bridge. So this intent-based technology really taking the forefront here, focused on Pulse chain and Railgun integration, emphasizing secure gasless swaps with fixed fees and privacy features. Based on their recent announcements and 2026 roadmap, the project has prioritized upgrades to enhance cross-chain liquidity, privacy routing, and trading efficiency on Pulse chain. Here's a summary of upcoming launches based on information on X. LibertySwap 2.0 major upgrade, of course, expecting 28th of February. So we're only 4 days or 5 days away from this. So these launches. This is the core upgrade, transforming LibertySwap into an intent-based liquidity protocol. It includes integration of Chainlink CCTP. Now, we know cross-chain is becoming a bigger deal. So the technology, we know other people like Jacob, who's doing was it on-chain bets, and Mafia, etc., are using CCIP and things. So it's becoming a bigger deal. The future is pretty much multi-chain in that sense, but you also want to bring the value back to your principal chain, I guess, is the argument there. In this case being Pulse chain. Circle CCIP, cross-chain interoperability protocol for seamless connections to over 40 blockchains. So obviously LibertySwap there is moving to take over chain after chain after chain and getting access to all that liquidity, right? Just like when we had talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're still doing about 90% of all the volume, right? They are kind of the two main players. If you're getting access to a lot of those things, which LibertySwap has pushed in to get Bitcoin and Ethereum on as part of their service, it's a pretty big deal. You're getting access to all that liquidity and trading activity. Features emphasize public mode for instant low swap fee swaps and connecting high activity chains like SuChain, Hyperliquid, L1, Tron, Polygon, and Avalanche to Pulse chain, and private mode for routing between Railgun shielded balances. So that privacy is a big deal moving forward. We know that Vitalik's kind of moving back to that ethos. Even though it's been selling the last couple of days, I don't know if you guys have seen that, across BNB, ETH, Polygon, and Pulse chain. The upgrade prioritizes optimized UX UI. So UX means user experience, user interface for UI, for faster execution and volume growth with a focus on unifying anonymity sets across chains. Partial rollouts include UI deployment completed, of course, earlier in February the 15th to 17th, so about a week ago. Railgun private mode with full token support. That includes USD Tether on BSC ETH, and DAI on ETH. Now remember, because we're moving this early and we know there's going to be an absolute boom in stablecoins, USD Circle and USD Tether are going to be key beneficiaries of that. We're expecting billions of more of stablecoins, right? So they're coming to market. So this is just more volume coming potentially for the LibertySwap service over the next year or two. Launched February 19th, enabling privacy swaps from Railgun balances to all Pulse chain assets, including small cap meme coins and pump tire coins. So those are some of the big updates we've had recently from LibertySwap, but they continue to scale. And the big deal, one of their big launches is a LibertySwap X or Liberty X there. Expected to launch 28th of February. An intent-based trading protocol tailored for Pulse chain, acting as an aggregator of aggregators by consolidating liquidity from Pulse expertise and other platforms across Pulse chain, Ethereum, BNB, and Solana. So we've got this multi-chain access to unified kind of liquidity. At least that's where they're heading. Uses specified trade intents, token details, slippage, and deadlines, for example, while execution is handled non-custodially. Key features: off-chain order books, MEV protection with gas fee refunds for MEV blocker, obviously pretty useful, and gasless trading, a limit in TWAP or time-weighted average price orders, and modular design for future privacy integrations, which they just continue to build out. This aims to provide professional-grade execution, better pricing, and reduce failed transactions. Now, after this big update that we're expecting on the 28th, approximately, is Liberty X. So that's a big deal for Liberty X and PCock. We're also expecting the broader roadmap to continue to build out their massive frontier DeFi system. Native Railgun on Pulse chain and governance, deploying native Railgun contracts on Pulse chain, supporting native assets and cross-chain privacy connectivity, introducing governance tokens, ZKX. Now, Obviously, some of that will be going to probably a big amount, I would suggest. We'll find out the final details will be going to that for PCock holders. That governance token is going to be for decentralized decision making and incentives. The ZKX wallet, which is their hybrid wallet between a normal wallet and a privacy wallet, just to make it more accessible to the retail book. And of course, give us Pulsechain another really good wallet. We do need a couple more really good wallets. ZKX is probably going to be one of those, along with probably Ramp now is doing a wallet as well, and I think someone else doing a wallet. So we have got a couple more wallets coming. Privacy first wallet layer built around LibertySwap, supporting EIP 7702, Pulsechain, and protocols like Tornado Cash and Railgun. Features include privacy RPCs, no metadata leaks, which is helpful, stealth addresses, open source design, and private asset swaps, and of course potential additional product as well. Liberty Lend is coming, and I think there's a big deal. So this is going to just add to more buying power potentially for Pulsechain and obviously other chains too. Liberty Lend there mentioned in Team Convictions, but not detailed in the official roadmap. But of course, that is expected to come. All timelines are subject to change, of course, so based on market conditions, technical priorities, and security audits are there. However, LibertySwap's been pretty accurate on their launch timeframes, sometimes with a couple of days either side. But essentially, they've been running to plan, and which just shows the professionalism of the team, right? Doing what they say, and we like that. So pretty cool. LibertySwap is, from a strategic point of view, positioning itself as a default cross-chain privacy layer for Pulsechain, addressing key pain points in DeFi like traceability, high fees, and fragmented liquidity. And funny thing about this, that Vitalik's coming back to this ethos, which LibertySwap is pushing at the frontier or leading in from the front. By integrating Railgun and intent-based mechanics, they're creating a unified ecosystem that could attract privacy-conscious users from chains like Ethereum and BNB, potentially boosting Pulsechain adoption amid a broader crypto market slowdown. Now, part of this, of course, will go with the PCock. If PCock's going up in price, it also is like a beacon or a light on the hill that's also heading towards LibertySwap services as well. So it's kind of a win-win. Work together in tandem, one might say. Recent UI tweaks adding token contracts to MetaMask and privacy upgrades show iterative development, but the emphasis on security is key, and they are doing all their audits and talking about that. So audits and MEV protection, suggesting a cautious approach to avoid any exploits, and they've been doing very well indeed on that. So that is kind of the cool things happening with LibertySwap. So it's great to have them on the chain. I think we can all appreciate that, and it could be our first meme coin, the chosen one. With the old PCock to become potentially one of the $1 billion memes, which would put it really on the map and help Pulsechain as well. So a couple of things going on there with that. Now, obviously, just to wrap up the show, because we're up to an hour and 2 minutes, I don't want to stay around an hour with my shows this year. We've got the monster thread. Now, we'll be going through this in a separate video, probably later today, and publish that. But MBS Crypto there has got this out from yesterday. This is a publication from the Crypto Night Show, of course. 42 weeks of awesome Pulsechain news. So if you haven't checked this out, check it out. Don't forget to share it around as well. But we've got lots of the latest things that happened over the last week, including from Richard Hart and the rest of the community in there as well. So definitely check it out. I will do a video on this later on, but it's got all the latest things that have been happening over the last week. And you can see a lot of community members doing really cool things. And we even got another engagement there. Amish got engaged, so he's pretty happy there. You can see him dancing out on the I don't know whether it's at Iceland or somewhere. It looks like that, doesn't it? But it's pretty cool. So there we go. Check it all out. And we've got some amazing teams in there as well, from Heartwood Dog, True DeFi, Emmett Farm, and Nexian. And of course, we also got Vets and Hero in there as well. So some really top teams there as well. So go through all of that and share it around. Pretty awesome stuff. So big shout out to those teams. So the hottest news and the hottest teams, that's the place to go. Monster 3 number 42. Check it out. I will post it in the chat there as well before we wrap up the show. Monster, but I will be doing probably a video later on today on that and posting that Monster thread of 42, and you can share that out there. So if you're on X, hit the repost button as well, and if you're on YouTube, that is the link right there. And it's great for new people coming to Pulsechain, and also for if you're busy during the week, you can catch up on the latest news as well. So there we go. Monster thread number 42 is alive. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're up to an hour and 5 minutes. I'll catch you again tomorrow on tomorrow's show around the same time, about 10:30 a.m. Australia time, at least where I am. And we'll catch you then. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And if you enjoyed it, leave some comments. Say, hey, I really like that topic. So I really like some of the changes you're making for this year. I'm definitely changing the content up a bit for this year. And I hope you guys are having a lot of cool insights from that. Also, if you haven't joined our strategy club, the link's in the video description on YouTube, also in the pin to the top of X, and you can go through the Whoop store and join up the strategy club. It is a private club. Get all the intel as I'm looking and researching and everything else. I will post it in there, and so you get a lot of cool insights. Very, very cool indeed. And if you're new to crypto, it's a great education as well. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you again tomorrow. Until then, bye for now, and happy buying the bottom. Is this the bottom? If so, happy buying the bottom. All right, take care there. Don't forget to always do your own due diligence. Nothing's a financial advice, all that good stuff. But I will catch you on tomorrow's show for another upload. How about that? All right, take care. Bye for now.